Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we just fired up one of my intel and are trying to find void shards to run a void crusade. And it turns out the ending loot was not as bad as I thought. Because it turns out the arc blade I picked up is a demon forged arc blade, which is, I believe, the highest tier because you have to have your morality maxed. Wait, what? Huh? How? I guess you can just get demon forged items whenever? Then what's the holy item enchantment do? I thought this was like, oh, you can unlock one drop of the other. I guess you can get both. Okay, cool. You know what, let's look at Omicron Arc and see. We're doing a little bit of experimenting here, because I don't know what this means. No, we're not salvaging. Modify. I don't know what that means. Maybe I have to have a holy weapon? I wish I fully understood that, but whatever. Regardless, I got this. It's pretty neat. Chance to slow an enemy, or cause a slow effect in a radius around me, or around an enemy that I kill. In a small area based, I guess, enemy around me. But that's something. Everything else kind of sucked, though. Oh, I did have an implant I swapped to. That gives me 450 extra HP, so I'm very tanky. Actually, I need to go in here. Okay, it's an incursion, so I just have to smack people. Yeah, that should be easy. Heavily armored, physical resist, more HP, bonus damage. Okay, yeah, I can just put a bunch of stuff in here then. High quality items, high quality items, high quality items. Every 5 minutes I lose a life. That's fine.
Several warp rifts are active in the area. Don't stay in that cesspit any longer than necessary, Inquisitor.
Yeah, that heavy armor is going to slow down my poison a big bunch. I really should have probably kept that Exodus rifle. But if I find a demon forged or a holy one, that would be pretty cool. I was also thinking about the last priority assignment, how all those events, the weird parasites, the Eldar, chaos showing up, all that was just completely random. Just a bunch of coincidences all happening one after the other. That honestly has to be my favorite little storyline of all the priority assignments.
Loading. Simply
because you don't see that often in 40K. Just, yeah, a bunch of random stuff happened. 9 times out of 10, it's because of this guy who's manipulating things behind the scenes, and this, and the warp. It's just, just a series of very coincidental coincidences that nobody really saw coming. I like it, it's simple. And while having that as the story multiple times would get boring, having it as a very isolated little standalone thing makes it really unique and kind of funny in a way. Plus, it's kind of nice not having it, like I was suspecting, being, Alpha Legion or somebody. Because those guys get enough attention. Yeah, I need a good Exodus rifle. Or a las gun. I'll take a las gun. Oh, like I had said last time, I was just looking at the stuff for next season, because there's also patch notes, and looking at what was changed for the Tech Adept. Apparently they changed something to facilitate more build diversity. I highly doubt that, honestly. Because the only thing that's going to add build diversity is more weapons. Yeah, they made it so, like, the Castellan robot isn't the only robot people use, which is fine. I have to change up my build when that update drops at some point, but it's not that big a deal. Looks like they made the Cataphron destroyers and whatever the other one is, made them a bit more viable in combat, which is cool, because I remember using them, and you'd summon them, and they just die. You were better off using the Psiloi Vivisectors, because I think you could actually perk into making them explode on death. And at that point, you just spam a horde of them, and if they get wiped out, they get wiped out. I don't know, I just feel like the Tech Adept is probably one of the worst in terms of abilities and builds, while the Crusader is just like, yeah, you can use almost everything, just pick a gun and go. And that's kind of rough, being stuck with very few options. I've only gotten through 2 rooms, god. This heavy armor is... Oh well. The main thing is the poison works. The only reason the other area was slow is because there was the 3, like, warlock guys. Reborn warlocks, and they were healing. Short of that, these guys just take a few more shots. They're not that difficult. But I feel if I was playing like the Crusader, I could just grab a flamethrower and just torch these dudes. Or I could grab the grenade launcher, or so many other weapons. And I think part of the problem there is games like this, and kind of like how it is with Borderlands, there's a certain degree of scaling that gets out of hand with enemy health, where a character like this who's supposed to be precision and high damage burst can't really burst enemies, because at a certain point they're just so tanky. I mean, look at that. I'm max stacks for poison. I go for at least a ×2 headshot, and it's just dinky damage. Even if I had charged to a ×8, it probably wouldn't have killed initially. Even the toxic entities are taking... They're taking a lot of damage. And the poison, too. All that poison is, I think, what? 500% more damage, because it's an ability that has over a 2-second cooldown. It's a pretty steep bit of scaling, even though this is specifically modifiers. Because if these dudes were normal, I'd just burn through them. But these additional modifiers are the kind of things you would see in, you know, a mayhem mode or something like that, or Inferno or Nightmare difficulty, whatever the game may be, their scaling name. But the point still stands, and you have to hope that the loot lets you get out in front of the scaling temporarily. And I have mixed feelings on that. On one hand, it feels really good when you do get out ahead of the scaling, because then it feels like you can actually power through stuff and make progress. And that happens. That happened in my playthrough of this, when I got like my first relic needler rifle. I was able to burn through guys super easy, but eventually the leveling caught up and the weapon fell off. And that's kind of an inevitability with this, is these games are kind of made to put you at a point where you do hit that wall. And I can't exactly say that's bad, because if you don't have that wall, you're stuck. You know, realistically, who likes playing a game where you're effectively God? You know, you just walk through every enemy, no challenge ever befalls you. Yeah, it's fun to, you know, turn on God mode for a little bit, but without that challenge, you're not really given a reason to stick around. I wish I could get... I don't think it even exists, but it'd be cool to have something where it's like, oh, if you headshot a guy and they die, you can trigger an AoE explosion around them. I would love something like that, just to help clear trash, but I think that's kind of the reason they don't have it, is horde enemies would just get insta-gibbed. These guys aren't even dropping loot. I just realized I haven't gotten much of anything. But I think I'll get a bunch from the actual warp gates. The beacons are super flimsy, that's a good sign. Let's just slap that there. I don't know why, but I just remembered the game Outriders is a thing, and that it's kinda dead, because the developers are like, yeah, we're not gonna try to make it a live service game, and so it's just, it's WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. Which, on one hand, is kinda fine. You know, the live service game thing has become a bit annoying, because everyone does it. But some games kinda necessitate that to exist. You know, your kinda looter games, like your Diablos, your Destinies, and whatnot, pretty much thrive off that live service design, and without it, they suffer horribly. Oh yeah, I can also just run in and do that for measly damage. God, I really need to find like a stun mine or something. Especially considering the stun mines actually do some pretty tangible damage. Yeah, I think if I clear this, any summon guy should just fall next to it. Yeah, there. Unsummon a bunch of dudes. That makes this fight so much easier. Now it's just all the stupid warlocks. Let's actually try the melee out. I mean, it's not bad, actually. That arcing hit is really nice for dealing with groups. I might have to actually go into these hordes using that. My only concern is how much damage I might end up eating as a result. Pull everybody but the boss and just deal with them separately. Okay, that's a lot of damage. But I can just do this little hit and run, that's not too shabby. Give me an execution. I still need to unlock the abilities for this thing. And at the rate it's going, I'm going to end up dumping it before I ever get the abilities unlocked. If I could find another one of these arc blades, I'd just stack up on them. Oh great, turrets. Demented Psyker. And you summon Chaos Beasts, or Chaos Spawn. Neat. And they're durable. Double neat. Run away. I think I picked up some intel. Oh yeah, I gotta deal with those now. You know a game that was really good but did not get the opportunity it deserved? Hellgate London. I really wish someone would pick that up and remake it. I think maybe THQ has it now? Or THQ Nordic? It was a good game. Part of the problem was it tried to be a subscription MMO initially, and God knows in the late 2000s, early 2010s, we had way too many MMOs trying to do the same old subscription models. But the idea behind the game was pretty good. More of a Diablo meets... Honestly, I'd say 40K is probably the best, like, comparison.
No.
You know, you have a class that's either kind of a melee fighter, a ranged guy, or effectively a psyker, and you fight demons. In London, obviously. Random loot gen, stuff like that. A great idea that if you brought up now could be expanded upon pretty easily. It did have its flaws. They tried having it so you could switch between first and third person combat. And I get it, it's cool. But I feel like in any game, you stick to one combat style. And especially if you're going to do first person, you can't just be like, oh, it's just like WoW. But as first person, you need to make sure your game is first and foremost a first person shooter at that point. Because that's what made games like Borderlands and Destiny stand out, is the developers, first and foremost, were making a shooter. And then secondly, making their looter. I must have some on-hit effect that gives me a chance to get, a charge back on my abilities. Whatever it is, it's really nice. I gotta say, I'm impressed on the fact that I have enough survivability, even though I have not built at all into actual melee combat. But of course, building into melee combat early in this game is so dangerous. I mean, you look at some of my older videos where I tried going into melee even for a moment, and I would just get obliterated. Yeah, I think it even gives me inoculator charges back. I really hope this is how, drawing a blank. Darktide. I hope this is how Darktide is. With just absolute hordes of enemies to chew through. My worry is that it's going to be just reskinned Vermintide, where every cultist and rebel I see I just swing my sword at once or shoot once and they just instantly melt. Which I guess shooting I'm a little more okay with, but melee I want to be... Unless I'm playing the Ogryn, I want it to be a little more dangerous. I guess it'll really depend on how much ammo is available, because that's kind of the thing with how it was in Vermintide was, if you had, you know, ammo for your weapons, range combat was pretty fun, but the second you ran out, you're at a disadvantage, especially when certain enemies would show up. Las pistol blueprint, not terrible. Oh, trap turrets, neat. Because that totally doesn't disrupt everything. Let's see if I can close in to take them on. Okay, now we just gotta find the guy in charge. I have to actually escape. I only have one life, or one allowed death. Yeah, I should probably thin these guys out because I think the leader will just summon Nurglings, and Nurglings are nothing to worry about. Just happens to be it just happens to be everything else is more of a concern here. Unless those two reborn marauders just want to sit around and cause problems. In which case there's not much I can do. I mean, the good part here is I'm able to just zip in and out, trigger a knockdown, get a AoE shot off, deal some damage and dart, but I'm down to one inoculator left. And these marauders are taking their sweet time dying. Big thing is going to be just getting one down and working from there. Oh, cool. I got just instantly killed.
The astropath has sent the emergency transmission. I'm afraid we have failed this time.
Didn't think I would automatically lose. I thought I'd at least get one shot, but oh well. That was my fault, though. I shouldn't have played as risky as I did. This Glory War is not going to give me anything worthwhile. I definitely think I'm going to need to see if I can make... Actually, that has to be... It is actually worse. But is it really? That's kind of the kicker here, is the HP regen's nice, but HP on hit could be useful. But I don't fully know. I'll probably just not use it. Let's see if I can just make a new... my options are pretty bad. I'll probably just make a sniper rifle and go from there. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.